Hello, friends. Welcome to another edition of the Ryan Show FM. And we're going to get into some sports talk in just a moment. But first, be sure to visit us online because this whole show is brought to you by our friends at newsolutionsnetwork.com. It is there you will find all types of great content to help you with your physical well being and mental health. And if you're on the San Antonio Spurs, or if you're a Spurs fan, that's probably exactly where you want to go after watching the Knicks steal game one last night in San Antonio. And there's a lot to break down and discuss. So I brought my dear friend Rich Bragno with me, who you hear on all types of other platforms now. And of course, the Do Not Be Sorry, Be Better podcast. Rich, how are you, brother?
Doing well. Thanks for having me back on. And it's a great day to be a Knicks fan.
A great day to be a Knicks fan. I was going to say your mental health must be, you're on one of the ups right now, on an upswing.
Oh, for sure.
Shouts to all my bipolar Knicks fans.
Bipolar.
Hell yeah. Shouts to the bipolar New York Knicks fans.
I don't think we stole that game, by the way. We won that game flat out. We played terrible in the first half. Our shot selection was horrible. We couldn't knock down any shots. And we took San Antonio's best punch while Jalen Brunson was dealing with, he bumped knees in the first quarter. He twisted his ankle in the second quarter. And then just right on time, they let us stay in the game. And right around the third quarter, we started taking over again, just like we've done in multiple games this postseason. So we won that game flat out. San Antonio looked tired at the end. Wemby was, at first, he was like, switching off on the ball screens, and then they were hiding him away in the corner to try and save him for offense in the fourth quarter. So we won that game flat out. We didn't steal anything.
Even though there was a 14-point second half deficit, I do agree. The Knicks just look better. Like sometimes you got to watch basketball and not look at the scorecard and not look at the stats. And you can just see what team looks better and what team looks tired. And it's like you said, it doesn't take some type of a deep analysis to know that these guys are coming off a 7-game series. The Knicks have just been steamrolling their opposition. And this seems to happen. They kind of start a little bit slow after getting these long breaks, and then they just come out rolling.
Yeah, so, game one of the Eastern Conference Finals, they were down 22 and cut that deficit and won the game. This was 14 points. And granted, San Antonio is a much better team than Cleveland, but if you're not making shots, you're not making shots. Champagne, he had 15 in the first half. He had 1 point in the second half. If he was shooting lights out from three, and then they went cold. Castle, same thing. He had big buckets in the first half and kind of came up short in the second half. Dylan Harper was on fire in the first half. And he played well in the second half, but the way I look at it is let Wemby kill you, but let nobody else kill you. And as long as you can keep that, De'Aaron Fox had 7 points. Well, that guy was
the big X factor. That's where they got him to be the second guy.
Yeah.
And they were lucky to draft Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper is really nice. Dylan Harper, I don't know what happened in the second half.
I don't think he did play much. Trash. Harper and Champagne's from New York. Him and Alvarado went to rival high schools, played against each other. They were chirping each other big time in the first half. He went quiet in the second half. It is a big swing now to steal this first game because you're playing with house money.
That is a huge swing. And, the Knicks just look like the more veteran team, the better team when they're playing a half-court game of basketball. The Spurs are young and athletic, but it's just the inexperience, and you could see the difference, and you could see the inexperience last night. And Wemby, I know it looked, if you look at the box score, it looks like Wemby had such a great game. That was not the Wemby that we're going to see, I would think, in the next few games. He's going to warm back up, and hopefully he's not too tired.
Foul trouble is a huge concern. Josh Hart played 7 minutes in the first half, and you can't have that. Obviously, he made such a huge difference. He didn't score a whole ton, but he had 15 rebounds. He was all over the place in the second half, even in foul trouble. So, that's something that he has to get under wraps. He can't get into foul trouble. He's so important to, everything that they do. OG, same thing. He was so quiet in the first 3 quarters, and then he came alive in the fourth quarter, hitting big time shots. So I said Knicks in 6. I stand by that. I think it's Knicks in 6.
Yeah, I think you might be right. After seeing last night, I would say either Knicks in 5 or Knicks in 6. I just don't see it. De'Aaron Fox was the problem. finishing with only 7 points on 3 for 13 shooting, 0 for 4 from 3, and that simply cannot happen if you're going to beat the New York Knicks. And you're going to go against Jalen Brunson, who, by the way, is the most fun to watch at the end of the game. Watching Jalen Brunson in the fourth quarter, it really is a treat. And me, as I'm not even a Knicks fan, it's hard. I've been hating the Knicks my entire life. And watching them now, I must admit that it's hard to root against them. It's hard to root against Jalen Brunson, who works the hardest. And he's just so clutch. When he put up that corner three, I mean, the guy is just built for the NBA Finals. Literally.
I mean, he's really making everybody eat their words. All those people that said he wasn't a 1A star, Becky Hammond 3 years ago shitting on him and now doubling down on him. It's a huge, like in their face. Like, obviously, this guy's built for the moment. He's been a winner on every level. He won in high school, 2-time champion in college. Now look at him on the biggest stage, the biggest, most important player on his team. I mean, all those people that talk so poorly about him, they're eating their words right now.
And that's not to say he can't play. I'm not saying he can play defense. I'm also saying, like, he's in the best time ever to play the style of defense that he plays.
Yeah,
let's put it that way.
Black hole liability that everybody says. I mean, he's putting effort in, and they're switching him off, and he's serviceable. He's not a great defender, but if your best player is getting 30 a game, you don't need him to be the best defender. You just need him to outscore their best player, and time again, he's shown to be able to do that, especially in the clutch moments. I mean, the guy is just
exactly
IQ, footwork out through the roof. Couldn't be happier.
Yeah, he's really becoming, and we can't speak too soon because it's not over yet. I said Knicks in 5. I don't want to be a fan of them or a victim of the moment, but just overall, I just feel like the Knicks have it in every category. And the way Karl-Anthony Towns played, a guy who I always gave a hard time and said he was soft and zesty Karl-Anthony Towns, but man, he's playing hard, and his defense on Wemby was, I mean, that's what stopped Wemby from having a huge night.
Wemby's 7'5", but he's probably like 260 pounds. You know, like Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson are big 7-footers that are probably teetering 300 pounds. They're not going to get pushed around by Wemby. I mean, Wemby's going to get his shots and he's going to get his moments, but they're going to make it hard for him. And I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, like I said, let Wemby kill you, but don't let anybody else kill you. As long as they can take all those wide open shots that they were giving you up in the first half, like they took away in the second half. And that's the other thing. Give Mike Brown a ton of respect for adjustments. In on the fly adjustments, he's so good. They have adjusted lineups, like taking people out. Their shot selection with Deuce McBride in the first half was awful, and he made very good adjustments right away. And you could see that they started playing differently when they started, switching up the lineups a little bit. There's not going to be like a set lineup. There's different heroes for every game in every series.
And that's what's so special about this Knicks team. I wasn't alive back in the day, but you hear legends of, what do they call them? The Minutemen.
Yeah.
Right? The Minutemen with the Knicks and their bench. Well, we're looking at this modern day version. And I don't look at this Knicks team like a potential dynasty. I feel like they're just, everything is working at the exact right time. I have to look and see who's going to be there next year. I haven't really looked to see. They don't lose anybody, right? It's the same team they're running back essentially next year.
I think Brunson's up for a supermax, and I don't think he's taking a discount like he did last time around. So that'll be something to watch. But yeah, listen, you got to get him. I think this is the year they got to get him now, because I think next year you're going to have a healthier Boston. You'll have a better East. You'll have, Wemby's obviously making the statement he's here to stay. OKC's here to stay, with all their draft picks and all their great players. This is the year that it just feels like fate, destiny. It's like a great story in the making. Now, I don't know what next year looks like, but like we're just living this moment and capitalize on this year and what's in front of us.
So I have to ask you, I know you're a Knicks fan, but what do the Spurs have to do to turn the table at this point? I know it's only game 1 in the books, but what do they have to do better over the next however many games in order to beat the Knicks?
So that they just have to execute. I think when they got the open shots taken away in the second half and they were missing a lot of shots, if they hit those shots, I mean, they win that game. When they're up 14, they can't take the foot off the pedal. They're up 14, they start coasting, then they go a 7-minute spurt without scoring, then they go a 5-minute spurt without scoring. You got to score consistently, because in basketball, it's a game of runs, right? Every team has a run. They go on a 10-0 run, they go on a 10, then they give up a 10-0 run. The Knicks are really good at sustaining those runs and making them a lot longer than they should. And then the defense is a lot better than people give it credit for. They were the best defensive team in the playoffs, and it showed in the second half. They made the adjustments, and they were taking away those open shots. Champagne's got to hit those shots in the corners. Dylan Harper's got to keep doing what he's doing. You need a lot more from De'Aaron Fox. You can't have arguably your second best scoring player getting 7 points. You can't. Wemby's going to be Wemby. He's going to give you 25 to 35 points a game, and you got to have your Robins to keep up with that. I mean, making life difficult. If they hit their shots, they win that game. In the second half, they missed the shots. Knicks missed the shots in the first half, started making them in the second half. They made adjustments. So I think it's going to be a long, grueling series. I say Knicks in 6, but it's not over by any means.
No. And, really, if you think about it, if De'Aaron Fox had just made 4 more baskets and Dylan Harper 4 more baskets, it would have been a totally different outcome of the game.
Yeah.
So, and those are guys that are going to score more. I don't think De'Aaron Fox is going to be averaging 7 points a game in the NBA Finals. Although he has
healthy. That ankle injury, you can tell he's not healthy. He's usually one of the fastest guys on the court, and you could see him laboring a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that they're all these games are getting, that last 7-game series definitely pushed that Spurs team. That OKC team was not going to go out without a fight. And Josh Hart, also another huge X factor. I just love Josh Hart, man. It's just like built. This is a legendary team. I hate to say it once again as a guy that's always been hating on the Knicks, but wow, I got to give it to the New York Knicks. It really has. Everybody's played and gotten better throughout the year. They really have earned this moment. So let's hope they close it. I'm rooting for you guys. I'm rooting for you, Rich.
I mean, this year, all these guys are from somewhere else. When you think about it, like the only homegrown guys that you really have are like Mitchell Robinson and like Deuce McBride. Like everybody else came from somewhere else. And if you look at like the tweets that are going around from other teams, it's like the Minnesota Timberwolves, like, if Minnesota can't win one, man, I hope Cat gets one. Or like there was a picture of Josh Hart and Jordan Clarkson when they were like rookies for the Lakers, and they're like, man, I hope the young Laker guys get their chip. It's like you're getting a lot of support because all these guys came from different places. And like, shout out to Leon Rose for like putting together such a great team. And then also making the switch after losing in the Eastern Conference Finals with Tom Thibodeau, who runs his players into the ground. You make a very questionable coaching change to Mike Brown, and it's rewarded us in so many ways. You're seeing a much fresher team in the playoffs, and health is obviously the biggest thing in the playoffs. The healthier teams usually win, and you're seeing that with the Knicks, and it's incredible. So from top to bottom, the whole organization deserves so much flowers.
The Knicks defense going on an 11-0 run at the end of the game. That's why I'm saying, I hate to say it even out loud, but yeah, Knicks could win this in 5 games. If they steamroll the way that they have, and if the Spurs are tired, and if De'Aaron Fox can't get a basket, and if Dylan Harper disappears in the second half of the game like he did, I don't know. It's a scary
situation. Market, I think they were projecting like after the first half, the Spurs were going to score like 125 points. They held them to 95.
And they just don't have the shooting. I feel like, Champagne, I don't even know how to say his name, but I feel like he is one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA, and it's great they have him. But besides that, they don't really have the best shooting from the outside. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of length on the wings. So like OG, McHale, Landry Shamet, like those guys are all like plus perimeter defenders. So in the first half, they were getting wide open shots because the flow of the game was a lot faster. San Antonio was kind of playing their pace of game. In the second half, the Knicks slowed it down and kind of made those adjustments where they were like guarding the perimeter and just kind of giving Wemby, Cat obviously stepped up huge. They were switching, kind of rolling defense to like double Wemby, which was a mistake in the first half. And they kind of stopped doing that, let Cat kind of play honest with him and then guarding the perimeters. And then they started missing shots on the perimeter, and it was over.
So you mentioned Leon Rose and how he's made some great changes They fired Coach Thibodeau, put in Mike Brown. Mike Brown is also built for this moment. He's been through so much, and he's finally got a team that works for his coaching style. Over the past few years, though, we see guys get fired after winning an NBA championship. I hope that you New York Knicks fans don't start shaming Mike Brown, and I hope that James Dolan continues becoming a better owner as time goes on and doesn't just throw Mike Brown to the curb if he has a couple of bad seasons. Because that seems to be what happened, right? I mean, my man Cookout Mike Malone thrown to the side. What was his name for the Bucks? I'm having a mental slip up. Yeah, Budenholzer, whatever his name is. He another guy that won a chip and they get rid of him soon after. Was it Nick Nurse for the Toronto Raptors?
Yep.
So I know. Hopefully, Mike Brown gets some respect. I know that it was Coach Thibodeau that built the foundation, but it was Coach Brown's coaching style that led them to the NBA championship. And I mean, look at how explosive they are. Like I said, I'm still saying it right now.
You have 6 guys. You have arguably 6 guys on the team that could give you 28 to 30 on any given night, right? And then you have the depth of, you're playing a 9 player, arguably maybe 10 player rotation, whereas last year you're running your 5 into the ground every night, 48 minutes every night, even in the regular season. So like it's so different, like being able to like say, all right, we're coasting, let's pull our guys out. They don't need to play 40 minutes and now get them ready for the more important games. And now here we are in the more important games, and those guys are fresh. They're fresher, they're healthier, and you're just seeing like more depth. You're saying, all right, Deuce McBride, it's not working out. He's taking poor shots. He's not really defending well. Landry Shamet, next man up. Jordan Clarkson will spell you for a couple minutes, and he'll give you buckets and good perimeter defense. And you can just like see it's just a much more complete team than it was. And it's just more cohesive. They're like playing a lot better together. The adjustments are there. Then everyone's bought in, which is a huge thing. Last year, Mikal wasn't happy with his role. He was one of the big people that championed this coaching change, and you can see he's playing better. He didn't have a great game yesterday, but like in the Eastern Conference Finals, he played amazing, and everyone's like, he's worth the five draft picks we traded for him. So we'll see if he turns that back on in this series.
And man, would there be some people, including myself, that would be eating their words for just
100%.
Nobody could have seen the Knicks congealing to such a great team. I'm sorry. All of them, the way they changed it, they had to change their whole offense. Even running it through Cat, everybody always would talk about how Jalen Brunson held the ball too long. But that's exactly who you want to have the ball in the fourth quarter, evidently, as we keep learning time in and time out. It's like, give it a Cat for 3 quarters, give it to Jalen Brunson in the fourth quarter, and let him go to town.
Yeah, I think that's another huge point, like the offensive adjustments. Last year, the ball was stopping with Jalen. It was hero ball all day long, and everyone get out of the way. If it's not working, it's not working. They make adjustments. So if they're running the offense through Cat and it's not working, they go away from that. They're making they're making the extra pass. They're finding the open man. They're getting open shots, and their transition is probably the best in the league. They're getting out in transition. They're getting these free buckets. They're in the passing lanes, getting these tips, getting these steals. So like, it's a lot of fun to watch. I love this Knicks team. I really do.
One last question before we go to a break and talk a little bit of Yankees. Hopefully I can keep you a little longer. Sorry to book you so last minute, Rich.
No, it's all good.
Where do you put Jalen Brunson on if they win this NBA championship? And it's been however many years since the 1970s. Was it 73?
73
was their last championship.
73.
Where is he first atop the Mount Rushmore of New York Knicks? And then where is he on the Mount Rushmore of New York sports, if he's even there at all?
Man, it's hard to say. All right, so from a Knicks standpoint, if he wins the championship, he is on Mount Rushmore of one of the greatest Knicks of all time. He's right there with Clyde Frazier. He's right there with Patrick Ewing. He's already surpassed Melo, and that I love Carmelo. I love those Carmelo, the Knicks tape. I love that Carmelo team, but like Carmelo won 7 playoff games in his Knicks career. Jalen Brunson has won more playoff games this year than Carmelo did in his entire Knicks career. So like he's already surpassed him. So he's on the Mount Rushmore. Now, if they win, because it's such a Knicks town, like in other sports, you have Yankees fans, Mets fans, you have Jets fans, Giants fans, Rangers, Islanders, but it's not a Nets Knicks argument. It's a Knicks town. So automatically they give him the keys to the city if they win the championship. It's Jalen's town, and Jalen is the face of New York sports because it's such a Knicks town. And no other sport has the dominance over the city the way that the Knicks do.
You'd put him above Aaron Judge
Yes.
if he wins an NBA Finals.
Judge hasn't won a championship.
That's a pretty
yet.
big statement coming from Dicky Braggs.
100%. 100%.
Wow. So for me, I'd put him, because it's so much harder to win an NBA championship now than it was when, and not take anything away from Clyde Frazier, but I feel like Brunson would have dominated the competition back then with his skill set. And I feel like it was a tougher NBA this year. I know that it could have gone anywhere. You can say that they had an easy road to the finals, but it's just harder in general to win an NBA championship now with so many more teams. And I know that they're in the Mecca. I know that they have so much money with James Dolan, and they're not hesitant to spend it. But I mean, I don't know. He might be right up there, 1A, 1B when it's all said. And I'm not a Knicks fan. He's definitely going to be bigger than Patrick Ewing. I'm sorry, Pat. The amount of letdowns that man had in that city. And this coming from a non-Knicks fan. For me, I'd say that if Jalen Brunson wins an NBA Finals, ending this horrible drought for the New York Knicks, he'd be right up there, 1A, 1B, with Walt Clyde Frazier.
Yeah.
And I know that's a crazy, and Walt Clyde.
I don't think it's crazy. I think it's true. I think you're 100% right. Walt Clyde Frazier went to 3 NBA Finals, won 2 out of 3. I mean, it's undeniable the success that he had. But this Jalen-led team, especially with all the hate, I wasn't alive then, so I don't know how much hate Walt Clyde Frazier was getting, but like the amount of hate and naysayers he has nationally, proving everybody wrong night in and night out. So he's not the superstar. You need a 1A and all the other arguments. Like, obviously, this guy has faced adversity and surpassed it at every turn. So, of course, 1A, 1B. I agree with it. I agree with it 100%.
And I know that, Walt Clyde Frazier, 5th pick of the draft, he was drafted to be the star of the Knicks. And I know that he's, he eventually left, but when you look at Walt Frazier, I understand, he started with the Knicks, but Jalen Brunson just has that new York kind of style and swag. When you think of New York now, you don't think of the people that are born there. They all left. You think about somebody that came there and took over and became the best. That's the New York dream. If you can't make it there, you can't make it anywhere. My man went after was he a 2nd round pick or somewhere deep into the 1st round?
Yep.
Wherever he was. He was not slated to be the player that he was, even though he did so well in college. Still overlooked. Went to New York, and that to me is the New York dream.
Because of his size. And it's a great story. His dad on the 1999 finals team, growing up around the Knicks as a little kid. Now his dad's on the coaching staff. It's like, it just felt like this was his home, because of where he grew up and his, the deep roots with the Knicks. So even though he got to start somewhere else, he's home. And I mean, Carmelo was very much the same way. Like the coming home video, I still watch that video from time to time. When they announced that Carmelo and I'm coming home, oh my God, bro. I still get goosebumps watching that video from time to time.
Because they hadn't had somebody that nice, like especially like a small forward like that. It was exciting when Carmelo came to New York. And I'm excited. I hope that we're not speaking too soon. I really hope that the Knicks and that, I never thought I'd say this out loud, Jalen Brunson win the NBA Finals for that reason, because Wemby's going to have plenty more chances at it. This is a chance to have a new face. I asked you also Mount Rushmore of New York sports in general, and I think that he's up there. I think it's going to be, Babe Ruth. I think it's going to be Wayne Gretzky, or who, I guess, right? Who else for hockey would be? Maybe Messier. Probably Messier is who they always mention, right? But I'm not a hockey fan.
Yeah.
And then I guess
Gretzky never won with the Rangers.
Well, still, he's Wayne Gretzky in a Rangers uniform. So someone like me, but I guess you're right. Mark Messier. And then in terms of football, maybe you'd say LT. I couldn't give it to Eli Manning on the right. Like
Yeah,
it has
Lawrence
to be.
Taylor for sure.
It would
Lawrence
have to be
Taylor for
LT.
sure.
And then in basketball, if he completes an NBA Finals win, we might be saying Jalen Brunson
Yeah.
on that Mount Rushmore of the four faces of New York sports
Well,
for each
sports
profession.
itself is always the what have you done for me lately? So like people forget so fast what previous like players have done. So like in this moment, obviously Jalen Brunson is the biggest thing alive, but like because of how long it's been since the Knicks have won a championship, and because it is a Knicks town only and there's no competition, like it holds so much more weight. So if and when Jalen Brunson wins a championship, it's his town now and forever, and that's going to last for a long time. The city's going to go absolutely nuts. It already has. Like the watch parties all over the city are crazy, and like they better get the grease ready for those light poles because people are going to go absolutely insane if and when the Knicks win this championship.
Get ready for that curfew, folks. But until then, keep listening. We'll be back after these messages. Don't go nowhere. And we have returned live in Boston. This is the Ryan Show FM on 98.1 FM, Urban Heat, and a whole bunch of other wonderful stations out there. And we're going to talk some Yankees because that's the only team that matters in this town. If you have any type of thoughts going through your head that resemble anything of intellect, I've got my man Dicky Braggs in studio right now, one of the number one Knicks fans in the Hamptons and beyond. And I ask you, how worried are you, Dicky Braggs, about this Aaron Judge injury being held out for a second straight game, I believe, for this right rib cage bone bruise? I mean, how worried are you? I remember the last time this happened, it was some type of punctured lung. What the hell's going on with Aaron Judge?
It's early in the season, so I'm not really worried, but because the June swoon has been so relevant over the last 4 seasons or so, having it hit June 1st and then announcing the Aaron Judge injury just feels like par for the course, and it does worry me a little bit. I also think, with the contributions of Ben Rice this year, I think that and Big G's on his way back, I don't think it's going to have as big of an effect, but it definitely is something to worry about. It also explains like he was kind of going through a little bit of a stretch where he was struggling a little bit. And he wasn't hitting as many home runs and he wasn't batting for average. So it kind of makes sense. The injury was probably something that was lingering or exacerbated like over the course of like the last like 15 games or so. So with that, I am a little worried, but it's also early in the season. So if it is something that's going to hold him out for, a little extended period of time, it's early enough where he can get back into form before the playoff push. But yeah, because it's June, it makes me a little more worried.
Felt like it was a little bit of a May sway, not just a June swoon.
Yeah. It started early this year. We had a little bit of struggles in May, and hopefully they don't linger in June. We're a game out. But there's a lot of they got to fix this bullpen. They got to fix this bullpen quickly because their bullpen is atrocious, and I feel like that's the glaring problem when you're getting starting pitching as good as you are. Your bullpen is a crapshoot, and that is not a championship formula.
No, it's not. I mean, we have so many starting pitchers, though. Do you think there's a chance that we move a couple of them into the bullpen? And if so, who do we move?
Yeah, I think that's the only thing that makes sense. I think especially when Fried comes back. But like Ryan Weathers is giving you such good quality starts that like you don't want to mess that up. But at the same time, like he has the best swing and miss stuff, and his stuff is nasty. He's a lefty. He throws 98 plus and has like great movement. So like you would think that from like a stuff standpoint, he would make the most sense because Will Warren is not like a huge swing and miss guy. He's like more of a pitch to contact. And like our bullpen is already a pitch to contact. David Bednar is a pitch to contact guy. Fernando Cruz is a pitch to contact guy. They're not really like huge swing and miss guys. You need swing and miss stuff. That's why they're moving LaGrange into the bullpen in the minors to get him ready for this because you need like really heavy swing and miss stuff in these like high leverage innings in the bullpen. So like Ryan Weathers stuff would make the most sense to move him, but he's pitching so good and you don't really want to mess that up.
No, I'm really impressed with Ryan Weathers. A lot of these guys, the Marlins especially, they give up on guys for a reason. They have a lot of great players that leave the Marlins, but they also give up on guys for a reason. usually because of inconsistency. And we see it at times with Ryan Weathers, but when he's on, he might have like some of the best stuff out of anybody on that team.
They said he's like the Tarik Skubal quality of like of pitches, which is a crazy thing because he's never pitched over 100 innings and he's never been healthy for a full season. So that's the other thing you have to worry about. So if you move him to the bullpen, is he going to be there when it matters at the end of the year? Is injury going to get him again, because it has consistently throughout his career. He's still young, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy. So that's another gamble, that risk that are you willing to take? You move him to the bullpen, he becomes a quality reliever and a huge part of that, like the heavy leverage innings, and then something happens, he gets hurt, and then what? You're back to square one. So that's something also to keep an eye on.
Definitely a very good point. Now, Garrett Cole is back, and he's looking slightly more like David Wells than I imagine. I'm not talking about his pitching style,
You're talking
putting
about
on the
his
pounds a little bit. I like it. He's not, you know what I'm saying? But my man Garrett Cole was shelled last night
Yeah.
out there. A bunch of home runs. I believe 3 home runs maybe were hit off him from what I saw, but he still has it. That would happen to Garrett Cole of old as well. People would just take the guy yard.
It's going to happen. He's coming off injury. The first year after Tommy John, velocity's there, but they say control is a factor. Obviously, he's so meticulous in his preparation that he's tried to build himself to the point where that's not going to be an issue for him. But control is going to be an issue. It happened throughout the course of all the guys coming back from Tommy John. They get their velocity back first, and then they work on that control. So he's built habits. He's trying to overcome that. But, of course, he's an outlier because he's Garrett Cole, and he has the top tier stuff. I mean, he's throwing as hard as he's thrown since 2023. He hasn't thrown as hard as he's throwing now. And, but it's just one of those things. I mean, Cam Schlittler didn't look great the day before. His fastball usually sits around 98, 99. He was sitting around 95, 96. That could be fatigue. That could just be an off day. There's things like that. You just have to look at, Cleveland came in and handed us our lunch, unfortunately, but we're still only a game back. Tampa seems to be losing that magic that they had early, and they were kind of struggling a little bit lately. And it's a game. Baseball's a grind. 162 games in 189 days. It's one of those things where it's a roller coaster, more so than any sport, because a 10-game win streak, a 10-game lose streak, it goes back and forth all year.
So Tarik Skubal is now. You mentioned Skubal. He's somebody that I guess rumors are swirling the Yankees might actually make a trade for, amidst having already such great starting pitchers. Do you think that'd be a waste of assets? And if so, who do you trade away to acquire Tarik Skubal?
Okay. First of all, I don't think that that's going to happen. I think they're going to check in on him because it's the Yankee way. They check in on everybody. I mean, if you look at like winter meetings, it's like every free agent, they're like, oh, the Yankees checked in on so-and-so. You're like, this guy's not coming. There's no way. They're like, there's no way they're signing this guy, but they check in on everybody. So they're going to be in there because ultimately Tarik Skubal could potentially go to a direct competitor of the Yankees. So if that were to happen, they're going to drive up the price as high as possible. If they were to trade for, it's really just like, I don't know. It's overkill to me. It's like you already have a surplus of starting pitching. You have Clark Schmidt coming back in probably August, September. Like you have quality pitching already at the starters. You have huge holes in the relief. So like I don't see really a real need or fit for it, but like who knows? The return package is gonna be, they're gonna demand George Lombard, Carlos Legrand, and probably 4 other guys to even make it make sense. And then do the Yankees really like pillage their farm system for a half a year of Tarik Skubal to go for the World Series when you know that probably you're not going to re-sign him because of the size of the contract, especially going into the CBA where the owners are pushing hard for a salary cap, which the Yankees would be well above it if the level they said was 275. So you could be going into a work stoppage. So would you really leverage it to try to win the World Series before a possible strike? I mean, I don't know. I don't see it happening, but you never know.
I would 100% sell the entire farm for a chance at the World Series. I'm sorry. It's been so long. And how many times these prospects we hear how wonderful they're going to be, how Volpe's the next Jeter, how this person's going to be so amazing. No one said that about Cam Schlittler.
Yeah.
If you were really paying attention, he was good, but no one said that about Ben Rice. He's going to be a catcher. They talked about Austin Wells being the great hitter and Ben Rice being better defensively, right? If I remember correct. So it's like we really don't know with these prospects. So if you have a chance to get Skubal and win the World Series because you're putting down, I don't trust Fried in the playoffs. If anything, if they can put a package around Fried and prospects, I don't want to talk smack about Max Fried, but I just got this gut feeling he's, I know he won the World Series with Atlanta, but he's not the best playoff pitcher. And I just feel like his stuff was not as good this year already from what we've seen. I know he's hurt now, but to have a Schlittler, Cole, and Skubal as a 1-2-3, that's like beyond a dream team.
Yeah, my only issue is who's going to close those games out.
Bednar. Sadly, I mean, what else are we going to do? Who else?
I think Bednar is a setup guy. I think he's going to end up being a setup guy. I think they're going to make a move for a closer. At least two. I think two bullpen arms are a much bigger need, and a righty hitting catcher that can actually hit. I know they like the guy from Minnesota who's hurt, but like that would make a lot of sense. He's in that Tanner Swanson universe as well. He's been Tanner Swanson, who's the head of catching for the Yankees. He spent a lot of time in Minnesota and knows Jeffers really well. So that is something I'd rather do. I just think starting pitching is already there. I think Rodon's gonna get better. Fried's gonna come back healthy, and he's gonna do his thing. Cole and Schlittler 1-2. Fried is your 3. He had good games in the playoffs last year. The Blue Jays really got to him. But again, I think this time off ultimately help later in the year because last year he pitched the most innings he's ever pitched.
That is true. That is true. And we'll see when he returns. But you make some good points. We absolutely need a catcher. It's sad to see how far everybody's opinion on Austin Wells has fallen because, man, people were so excited about Austin Wells. He had a great rookie season. All things considered, it's a shame. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you exactly what's going on. I guess that people talk about his stance and his swing. Do you have an assessment, Dicky Braggs, on what the hell's...
Because they say that, but he in the World Baseball Classic he hit. I don't know why he's not hitting. He didn't change his stance from the World Baseball Classic to now, and he hit in the WBC. Maybe he's overthinking it. Maybe the grind of catching important innings is playing in, but like. He's not putting up competitive at bats, and that's problematic. You need something out of him. You got to get something out of him. And the idea that JC Escar is going to learn how to switch hit mid-season and be effective from the right side of the plate is a joke. I can't even like. Who says that? That'd be like moving. They'd be like, all right, Volpe's going to play second base from now on. In the middle of the season, he's never played second base in his entire career. Now he's just going to play second base. It doesn't work that way. Anytime that they've done that, it's never worked out well. Like when they moved Ryan McMahon in the early part of the season to shortstop. The guy's a Gold Glove third baseman. He can't hit a lick, but he's a Gold Glove third baseman. You don't move him. I mean, it's just one of those things. Like you don't start doing experiments in the middle of the season. You got to like get the formula right and then roll into the playoffs with the right formula.
Makes a lot of sense to me. And Dicky, it's that time. We both have to move about our day, and I want to thank everybody for watching us here. Actually, this is going to be on the What's Going On YouTube channel, as well as appearing on the radio for the Ryan Shaw FM. So wherever it is you're watching, thank you, or listening, thank you. And where else can we find you, Rich?
So catch me at Dicky Braggs on Instagram. Don't Be Sorry, Be Better podcast. Every Thursday, I'm on the New York Sports Loudmouth radio show. It's a 4-hour show every Thursday live on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And I just joined. This will be week 3. We just had Noah Eagle on Monday, and it's a real fun show. It's a good group of guys. Shout out Quentin Copels, ex-first round pick of the Jets. He's the co-host of the show. Errol Marks, the host of the show. That's really high energy. It's a lot of fun to do.
I can't wait to check it out. Let's go, man. Making some big moves out here. Check out Dicky Braggs on all these wonderful platforms. And thanks for listening. We'll be back soon with some music by DJ Robbo, a.k.a. Fitzgibbon. And we'll be wrapping up the show after that. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon.